On a cold Tuesday morning in California, Marcus Chen made a discovery that would change everything. As Elon Musk's bodyguard walked through the SpaceX gates at 5:30 a.m., he found something that made his heart stop. A 7-year-old girl named Luna sleeping in a cardboard box, clutching a hand-drawn rocket ship. Luna had been living on the streets for 2 weeks after her grandmother died. But she wasn't just any homeless child. She was a brilliant little girl who understood rocket science better than most college students. And she had chosen to sleep outside SpaceX because she believed it was where dreams come true. When Elon Musk arrived that morning and met Luna, he made a decision that shocked everyone around him. But Luna whispered something to him that day. Something so surprising it would change both their lives forever. What did Luna say that left the world's most powerful man speechless? And how did a little girl sleeping in a cardboard box end up helping humanity reach for the stars? The morning air was cold and gray as Marcus Chen pulled his black SUV through the gates of SpaceX. It was 5:30 a.m. on a Tuesday, and the streets of Hawthorne, California were still quiet. Marcus had been Elon Musk's head of security for 3 years now, and he always arrived early to check the building before his boss got there. Marcus parked his car and stepped out, his breath making small clouds in the chilly air. He walked toward the main entrance, checking his phone for any overnight messages. Everything seemed normal. The tall metal fence surrounded the SpaceX campus like it always did. The security cameras blinked their red lights. The parking lot was empty except for a few cars from the night shift workers. But something was different today. As Marcus walked past the main gate, something in the corner of his eye made him stop. Behind the fence, near a pile of old cardboard, boxes that the cleaning crew must have missed, he saw a small shape that didn't belong there. Marcus squinted in the dim morning light. Was that? His heart began to beat faster. He walked closer to the fence, and what he saw made him gasp out loud. It was a little girl. She was curled up inside a big cardboard box, sleeping. Her dark hair was messy and dirty. Her clothes looked like she had been wearing them for days. Her small hands were wrapped around something, holding it close to her chest like it was the most important thing in the world. Marcus had seen many things in his job, but this was not one of them. A child, alone, sleeping outside SpaceX in a cardboard box? His mind raced with questions. Where were her parents? How long had she been there? Was she hurt? He pulled out his phone to call the police, but something made him stop. The little girl looked so peaceful, even sleeping in that cold cardboard box. Her face was calm, like she was having a good dream. Marcus didn't want to scare her. Instead, he walked around to the gate and quietly let himself through. He approached the cardboard box slowly, the way you might walk up to a sleeping cat that you don't want to frighten. As he got closer, he could see what the little girl was holding against her chest. It was a piece of paper with a drawing on it. Even folded up in her small hands, Marcus could see bright colors, red and white and blue. "Hey there," Marcus said softly, kneeling down next to the box. "Little girl, are you okay?" The child's eyes opened slowly. They were the biggest, brightest brown eyes Marcus had ever seen. She looked up at him without fear, which surprised him. Most kids would be scared to wake up and find a stranger looking at them. "Hi," she said in a small, clear voice. She sat up in the cardboard box but didn't try to run away. She kept holding her drawing close to her chest. "What's your name, sweetheart?" Marcus asked gently. "Luna," she said. "Luna Martinez. That's a pretty name. Luna, what are you doing here? Where are your mom and dad?" Luna looked down at her drawing, then back up at Marcus. "I don't have a mom and dad. Grandma Rosa took care of me, but she went to be with the stars 2 weeks ago." Marcus felt his heart break a little. This tiny girl was an orphan, and she had been living on the streets for 2 whole weeks. "Luna, have you been sleeping here for a long time?" "3 nights, Luna said, like it was no big deal. "I tried other places, but they were scary. This place feels safe." And she looked up at the SpaceX building with wonder in her eyes. "This is where they build the rockets." She carefully unfolded her drawing and held it up for Marcus to see. His eyes went wide. It was a rocket ship, drawn in crayon with amazing detail. Every part was in the right place: the engines, the fuel tanks, even the tiny windows. It looked exactly like a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. "Did you draw this?" Marcus asked, amazed. Luna nodded proudly. "I drew it from memory. I saw it on a phone I found, and I watched the rocket go to space. It was the most beautiful thing I ever saw." Her eyes got dreamy. Grandma Rosa always said, "I was going to do important things someday." She said I was as smart as the stars are bright. Marcus pulled out his phone. He needed to call someone, the police, social services, someone who could help this little girl. But Luna saw him with his phone and her eyes got worried. "Please don't send me away," she said quickly. "I promise I'm not causing trouble. I just want to be near the rockets. Do you work with the Rocket Man?" "The Rocket Man?" Marcus asked. "The man who builds the rockets that go to Mars," Luna explained. "Grandma Rosa told me about him. She said he's trying to help people reach the stars. I want to help too when I grow up." Marcus realized she was talking about Elon Musk. This little girl, living in a cardboard box, dreamed of working for his boss. "What if I told you that yes, I do work with the Rocket Man?" Marcus said carefully. Luna's whole face lit up, like the sun coming out from behind clouds. "Really? You really do?" "Really. And you know what? I think he would want to meet you." Marcus made a decision that would change everything. Instead of calling the police right away, he called his supervisor. "Hey, it's Marcus," he said into his phone. "I'm going to be a few minutes late for the security check. I found someone who needs help." While he talked on the phone, Luna stood up from her cardboard box. She was much smaller than Marcus had thought, probably only 7 years old, and too thin, like she hadn't been eating enough. But she stood up straight and tall, holding her rocket drawing like a flag. "What's your name?" Luna asked when Marcus finished his phone call. "I'm Marcus Chen. I keep people safe here at SpaceX." Luna smiled the biggest smile Marcus had ever seen. "Thank you for not being scared of me, Mr. Marcus. Most grown-ups get scared when they see kids like me." "Kids like you?" "Kids with nowhere to go," Luna said simply. Then she looked up at the SpaceX building again. "But Grandma Rosa always said that when you don't have anywhere to go, you should go where dreams come true. And this is where dreams come true, isn't it?" Marcus felt tears starting in his eyes. This brave little girl, who had been living on the streets for 2 weeks, still believed in dreams. She still had hope. "Yes, Luna," he said. "This is definitely where dreams come true." Luna looked at Marcus with those big brown eyes, and then she whispered something that made him gasp. She said it so quietly that he almost didn't hear her. But when the words reached his ears, Marcus knew that this morning was going to change everything. But what she said, that secret, would have to wait. Because right then, Marcus heard the sound of a car pulling into the parking lot. A black Tesla Model S Elon Musk had arrived early, and he was about to meet Luna Martinez. Marcus watched the black Tesla pull into the parking spot marked E. Musk. His heart was beating fast. In 3 years of working for Elon, Marcus had never had to explain why there was a homeless child on the SpaceX property. How do you tell one of the busiest men in the world that his morning schedule just changed? Completely? Luna, Marcus said quietly. I need you to stay calm, okay? The Rocket Man is here. Luna's eyes went wide. She clutched her drawing tighter and stood up as straight as she could. He's really here? The real Rocket Man? His name is Elon Musk, Marcus explained. And yes, he's really here. The car door opened and Elon stepped out. He was wearing his usual dark jeans and a black SpaceX t-shirt. His hair was a little messy, like he had been thinking hard about something during the drive. He looked at his phone as he walked toward the building, probably checking his emails like he did every morning. Marcus took a deep breath. Mr. Musk? Elon looked up from his phone, surprised to see Marcus standing by the fence instead of at the front door. Marcus, is everything okay? Security issue? Not exactly a security issue, sir, Marcus said carefully. More like a situation that needs your attention. Elon walked over, and that's when he saw Luna. His steps slowed down, and his expression changed from busy and distracted to concerned and curious. Luna stared up at Elon with those big brown eyes. She had seen his picture on the internet, but seeing him in person was different. He seemed taller and more real, and he was looking right at her. Hello, Elon said gently, the way adults talk to children when they don't want to scare them. What's your name? Luna Martinez, she said in her clear, small voice. Are you really the Rocket Man? A tiny smile appeared on Elon's face. Well, I suppose some people call me that. I build rockets, yes. What are you doing here, Luna? Luna held up her drawing with both hands, like she was presenting a gift to a king. I drew this for you. It's a Falcon 9 rocket. I watched it go to space on a phone I found, and it was the most amazing thing I ever saw. Elon took the drawing carefully, like it was made of glass. Marcus watched his boss's face change as he looked at Luna's artwork. Elon's eyebrows went up, and his mouth opened a little bit. Luna, Elon said slowly, did someone help you draw? This? No, sir, Luna said proudly. I drew it all by myself. Grandma Rosa taught me about rockets before she went to be with the stars. She said rockets are like dreams with engines. They take you places you never thought you could go. Elon looked at the drawing more closely. Marcus could see that his boss was amazed. The rocket in Luna's drawing wasn't just a simple cartoon. Every detail was correct. The 9 engines at the bottom, the grid fins that help it steer, even the tiny SpaceX logo on the side. This demonstrates remarkable attention to detail, Elon said, and Marcus could tell he was speaking more to himself than to Luna. The proportions are accurate. The technical elements are all in the right place. I have a really good memory, Luna explained. Grandma Rosa said I was special that way. She taught me lots of things about space and science. Did you know that Mars is called the red planet because it has iron oxide on its surface? That's basically rust. Now, Elon's eyebrows went up even higher. You know about iron oxide? Grandma Rosa was the smartest lady in the world, Luna said with a big smile. She taught me that learning is like collecting stars. The more you gather, the brighter your sky becomes. Marcus watched this conversation and felt something warm growing in his chest. Luna wasn't just a smart kid, she was extraordinary. And Elon was seeing it too. Luna, Elon said, kneeling down so he was at her eye level, where are your parents? Why are you here by yourself? Luna's smile faded a little. I don't have parents. Grandma Rosa took care of me, but she got sick and went to heaven 2 weeks ago. I've been staying in different places, but this place feels safe. And I wanted to be close to where the rockets are built. "You've been living on the streets?" Elon asked, his voice getting more serious. "It's okay," Luna said quickly. "I'm good at taking care of myself, and I'm not causing any trouble. I just like being near the rockets. They make me feel like Grandma Rosa is still with me, watching from the stars." Marcus saw something change in Elon's face. It was the same look he got when he was solving a difficult engineering problem, focused and determined. "Marcus," Elon said, standing up, "cancel my 8 a.m. meeting." "Sir?" Marcus was surprised. Elon never canceled meetings. "Cancel it. We have something more important to take care of." Elon looked back down at Luna. "Luna, have you eaten breakfast today?" Luna shook her head. "I'm not really hungry," she said, but Marcus could hear her stomach making small growling sounds. "Well, I am," Elon said, "and I don't like eating breakfast alone. Would you like to come inside and have breakfast with me? I can show you some." "Real rockets while we eat." Luna's whole face lit up like a Christmas tree. "Real rockets? Inside SpaceX? Really?" "Really," Elon said. "But first, I need to ask you something important." Luna nodded seriously, ready to listen. "When you were telling me about Mars and iron oxide, you reminded me of myself when I was young. I was always curious about space and science too. So I have to ask, what do you want to be when you grow up?" Luna didn't hesitate for even 1 second. "I want to be the first person to build a rocket that can take families to live on Mars. Not just astronauts. Regular families, like moms and dads, and kids. I want to help make Mars a place where people can have homes and schools and playgrounds, just like Earth." Marcus felt his heart skip a beat. This 7-year-old girl had just described SpaceX's exact mission: to make life multiplanetary. Elon was quiet for a long moment, just looking at Luna. Then he said something that Marcus would never forget. "Luna, I think you and I are going to be great friends." As they walked toward the SpaceX building, Luna skipping a little to keep up with Elon's long steps, she suddenly stopped and looked up at him. "Mr. Elon?" she said. "Just Elon is fine," he replied. "Elon, can I ask you something?" "Of course." Luna looked serious, more serious than any 7-year-old should have to look. "Do you think Grandma Rosa would be proud of me for finding you?" Elon stopped walking. He knelt down again and looked Luna right in the eyes. "Luna, I think your Grandma Rosa would be very proud of you. Not just for finding me, but for being brave, for being smart, for never giving up on your dreams even when things got really hard." Luna smiled, but then her expression changed. She leaned closer to Elon and whispered something in his ear, something that made his eyes go wide and his mouth fall open in complete shock. Marcus was too far away to hear what she said, but he could see Elon's reaction. Whatever Luna had whispered, it was something amazing, something that changed everything. But just like the secret she had shared with Marcus earlier, this one would have to wait. Because right now, they had breakfast to eat and rockets to see. And somewhere in the back of his mind, Marcus had the feeling that this was just the beginning of the most incredible story he had ever been part of. As they walked through the doors of SpaceX, Luna Martinez was about to see her dreams come true, but none of them knew yet that she was also about to change all of their lives forever. The moment Luna stepped through the doors of SpaceX, her mouth fell open and stayed that way. The lobby was huge, with white walls that seemed to go up forever. But what made Luna gasp out loud was what she saw in the center of the room. A real rocket engine. It was massive and silver, with pipes and wires running all around it like the veins of some incredible metal heart. A sign next to it read, "Merlin, engine, used on Falcon 9 Flight 007. That engine has been to space, Elon explained, watching Luna's amazed face. It helped carry astronauts to the International Space Station. Luna walked up to the engine slowly, like she was approaching something magical. "It's beautiful," she whispered. "Can I touch it?" "Go ahead," Elon said with a smile. Luna placed her small hand on the metal surface. Her eyes closed for a moment, and Marcus could see her trying to imagine all the places this engine had been. High above the Earth, among the stars, in the vast darkness of space. "Come on," Elon said. "Let's get some breakfast, and then I'll show you where we build the rockets." They walked through hallways lined with pictures of rocket launches, astronauts, and Mars. Luna looked at everything with wide eyes, asking questions about every single picture. Elon answered each question patiently, and Marcus could tell his boss was impressed by how smart Luna's questions were. In the cafeteria, Elon got Luna a tray with scrambled eggs, toast, orange juice, and a chocolate chip muffin. Luna ate like she hadn't had a real meal in days, which Marcus realized was probably true. "Luna," Elon said as she ate, "I need to make some phone calls to figure out how to help you. Can you stay in here with Marcus while I do that? There are some books about space you can look at." Luna nodded, her mouth full of eggs. "Thank you." "For the food, Elon. This is the best breakfast I've ever had." After Elon left, Marcus sat with Luna as she finished eating. But Luna was too excited to sit still for long. "Mr. Marcus, can I look around a little bit? I promise I won't touch anything important." Marcus thought about it. Elon had said to keep Luna in the cafeteria, but the little girl looked so eager to explore. "Okay, but just for a few minutes, and I'm coming with you." They walked out of the cafeteria and down a long hallway. Luna pointed to everything she saw. Computer screens showing rocket designs, models of spacecraft hanging from the ceiling, and photos of Mars that looked like a red, rocky desert. "Look," Luna said suddenly, pointing through a big window. "People are working on a rocket!" On the other side of the glass, they could see into a huge room where engineers in white coats were working on what looked like a giant white and black rocket. Some people were welding metal pieces together, while others were checking computer screens and taking notes. "That's a Falcon 9, said a voice behind them. Marcus and Luna turned around to see a young woman with short black hair and kind eyes. She was wearing a SpaceX shirt and holding a tablet computer. "Hi there," the woman said to Luna. "I'm Sarah Kim. I'm one of the engineers here. Who are you?" "I'm Luna Martinez," Luna said politely. "I'm visiting with Elon. Are you really a rocket engineer?" Sarah smiled. "I really am. I help design the engines that make the rockets go to space. Do you want to know how rocket engines work?" Luna's eyes lit up. "Yes, please." Sarah knelt down next to Luna and started explaining. "See? Rockets work because of something called Newton's third law. Do you know what that is?" Luna thought for a moment. "For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction." Sarah's eyebrows went up in surprise. "That's exactly right. How did you know that?" "My grandma Rosa taught me," Luna said proudly. "She said that's why rockets can fly in space even though there's no air. The rocket pushes gas out the bottom really fast, so the gas pushes the rocket up really fast, too." Sarah looked amazed. "Luna, how old are you?" 7, Luna said. 7? Sarah shook her head in wonder. "Most college students don't understand rocket science that well. Your grandma must have been a very good teacher." "She was the best," Luna said, her voice getting a little sad. "She taught me that science is like magic, except it's real." Sarah noticed Luna's sad expression. "Where is your grandma now?" She went to be with the stars, Luna said quietly. But she said that even when people go to the stars, they're still watching over the people they love. Marcus felt his heart break a little more for this brave little girl. Sarah looked touched, too. "Well," Sarah said gently, "I bet your grandma would love to see you here at SpaceX, learning about rockets. Would you like to meet some more engineers?" Luna nodded eagerly, and Sarah led them through the building. At each stop, Luna met someone new and learned something amazing. Jake the welder showed Luna how he used fire to stick metal pieces together to make rocket parts. Luna watched with fascination as sparks flew from his welding torch. "The metal gets so hot that it melts a little bit," Jake explained. "Then when it cools down, the pieces are stuck together forever, stronger than they were before." "Like how friendship makes people stronger?" Luna asked. Jake smiled. "Exactly like that." Next, they visited Maria in Mission Control, where dozens of computer screens showed numbers, graphs, and pictures from space. Maria explained how they talk to astronauts who are flying around the Earth. "Right now," Maria said, pointing to one screen. "There are people living on the International Space Station, 250 miles above our heads. We talk to them every day to make sure they're safe and help them with their experiments." Luna stared at the screen in wonder. "There are really people up there right now, flying around the Earth?" "Really and truly," Maria said. "Would you like to hear what it sounds like when we talk to them?" Maria turned up the volume on her radio, and Luna heard a scratchy voice saying, "Houston, this is Station. We can see a beautiful sunrise over the Pacific Ocean right now." Luna's eyes filled with tears of joy. "That's someone talking from space." In the engineering department, Dr. Rodriguez showed Luna blueprints for Mars rockets that were still being designed. Luna looked at the drawings carefully, studying every line and number. "Dr. Rodriguez," Luna said after a few minutes, "I think there might be a problem with this fuel tank design." Dr. Rodriguez looked surprised. "Oh? What kind of problem?" Luna pointed to a section of the blueprint. "If the fuel sloshes around too much when the rocket turns, won't that make it harder to control? Maybe you need something inside the tank to keep the fuel from moving around so much." Dr. Rodriguez's mouth fell open. He looked at the blueprint again, then at Luna, then back at the blueprint. "Luna, you just identified a problem that took our team 3 weeks to figure out. And you found it in 3 minutes." Word began to spread through SpaceX about the amazing little girl who understood rocket science. Engineers started gathering around Luna wherever she went, curious to meet the 7-year-old who asked such smart questions. "How does she know so much?" one engineer whispered to another. "Where did she come from?" asked someone else. "Has anyone told Elon about this?" said a third person. Marcus was amazed too. He had thought Luna was just a very smart child, but she was something much more special than that. She understood things that people spent years in college learning. Meanwhile, in his office, Elon was making phone calls and looking at his computer screen. He was researching Luna's situation, trying to find out what had happened to her and what could be done to help her. What he found made his heart heavy. Luna really was all alone in the world. She had been living on the streets since her grandmother died, somehow managing to stay safe and take care of herself. Social services had no record of her, which meant she had slipped through the cracks of the system. But Elon also found something else, something that made him sit back in his chair and think very hard about what to do next. As the day went on, Luna continued to amaze everyone she met. She helped an engineer solve a problem with a computer program. She asked a question that gave another engineer a new idea for making rockets lighter. She even drew a picture of a Mars habitat that was so detailed and clever that the planetary science team asked if they could keep it. "She's incredible," Sarah told Marcus as they watched Luna explaining her Mars habitat, drawing to a group of fascinated engineers. "I've never seen anything like it. It's like she has an instinct for this stuff." "I know," Marcus said. "It's almost like she was meant to be here." Late in the afternoon, Elon came looking for Luna. He found her in the main factory floor, surrounded by a crowd of SpaceX employees who were listening to her explain how she thought they could make rockets reusable by landing them back on Earth, instead of letting them fall into the ocean. "And if you put legs on the rocket," Luna was saying, "it could land standing up, like in the old science fiction movies." The crowd was amazed. Several engineers were taking notes. Elon walked up quietly and listened. What Luna was describing was exactly what SpaceX had spent years developing: reusable rockets that could land themselves. But she had figured it out just by thinking about it. "Luna," Elon said gently, "can I talk to you for a minute?" Luna looked up and saw Elon. Her face got a little worried. "Am I in trouble? I didn't mean to bother everyone. They kept asking me questions, and I like talking about rockets." "You're not in trouble at all," Elon said with a warm smile. "In fact, I think you might be the most popular person at SpaceX today. But I need to talk to you about something important." As they walked back toward Elon's office, Luna looked back at all the engineers who were still talking excitedly about her ideas. "Elon," she said quietly, "do you think Grandma Rosa would be proud that I made so many new friends today?" Elon stopped walking and knelt down to Luna's level. "Luna, I think your grandma would be incredibly proud, not just of the friends you made, but of how smart and kind and brave you are." Luna smiled, but then her expression got serious. "Elon, you look worried. Is something wrong?" Elon took a deep breath. He had spent the afternoon making difficult phone calls and learning hard truths about Luna's situation. Now, he had to make a decision that would change everything. For Luna, for him, and for everyone at SpaceX. "Luna," he said carefully, "I found out some things about what happened to you, and I need to tell you about the choices we have to make. But first, I need to ask you something very important." Luna nodded seriously, ready to listen. But what Elon was about to tell her would be more surprising than anything that had happened so far. And the question he was about to ask would change both of their lives forever. Elon led Luna to his office, which was much simpler than she had expected. There were no fancy decorations, just whiteboards covered with rocket drawings, computer screens showing Mars pictures, and stacks of papers everywhere. But what caught Luna's attention was a model of a red planet sitting on Elon's desk. "Is that Mars?" Luna asked, walking over to touch the little red ball. "It is," Elon said. "Someday, I hope real people will live there. Maybe even you." Luna smiled, but she could tell that Elon had something serious to talk about. She sat down in the big chair across from his desk, her feet swinging because they didn't touch the floor. "Luna," Elon began carefully, "I spent the afternoon making phone calls about you. I talked to social services, the police, and some other people who help children who don't have families." Luna's smile faded a little. "Are you going to send me away?" "I don't want to send you anywhere," Elon said quickly. "But I learned some things about what happened to you that I think you should know." Elon picked up a folder from his desk. "Your grandmother, Rosa Martinez, was a very special person. Did you know that she used to work for NASA?" Luna's eyes went wide. "NASA? The space people? My grandma Rosa?" "Yes. She was a scientist who worked on rocket designs a long time ago, before you were born. She was very smart, just like you. Luna's mouth fell open. Grandma Rosa never told me that. She just said she loved science and wanted to teach me everything she knew. Elon's expression got sadder. Luna, your grandma got very sick a few years ago. The medicine she needed to get better cost a lot of money, so she used all her savings to take care of herself, but she also spent money on something else. What? Luna asked quietly. Books, educational games, science experiments, everything she could find to teach you. The people I talked to said that, even when she was very sick. Rosa spent her last money making sure you could learn. Tears started forming in Luna's eyes. She got sicker because she spent money on me instead of medicine? No, Luna, Elon said firmly, leaning forward. She didn't get sicker because of you. She was already very sick. But she chose to spend her time and money making sure you had the best education she could give you. That's what people do when they love someone. They give them everything they can. Luna wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. I didn't know she worked for NASA. I didn't know she was spending money she needed for medicine. There's more, Elon said gently. After Rosa died, you were supposed to go to a foster home. But there was a mix-up with the paperwork. Nobody knew where you were, so you've been taking care of yourself for 2 weeks. I'm good at taking care of myself, Luna said, trying to sound brave. You are very good at it, Elon agreed. But 7-year-old children shouldn't have to take care of themselves. They should have families who love them and keep them safe, Junan. Looked down at her hands. I don't have a family anymore. That's what I want to talk to you about, Elon said. Luna, you are the smartest 7-year-old I have ever met. Today, you amazed every engineer in this building. You understand things about rockets and space that most adults don't understand. Luna looked up at him. Grandma Rosa taught me well. She did. And I think she would want you to keep learning, to keep growing, to maybe someday build those rockets that will take families to Mars. I would like that, Luna said softly. Elon took a deep breath. Luna, I have been thinking about this all day, and I want to ask you something very important. But first, I need you to know that whatever you say, I will make sure you are safe and taken care of. Luna nodded, waiting. Would you like to come live with me? Elon asked. Would you like me to be your family? Luna stared at him for a long moment, not saying anything. Elon started to worry that maybe he had scared her or moved too fast. You want to be my family? Luna asked in a very small voice. Yes, Elon said. I know we just met today, and I know this is a big decision. But Luna, I think your Grandma Rosa would want you to be somewhere you can keep learning and growing. And I think I could learn a lot from you too. What would that mean? Luna asked. If you were my family? It would mean you would have a home, Elon explained. You would have your own room, and food whenever you're hungry, and clothes that fit. You would go to school and learn new things every day. And maybe, sometimes, you could come to SpaceX and help us think about how to build better rockets. Luna's eyes were filling with tears again, but this time, they looked like happy tears. And I would never have to sleep in a cardboard box again. Never, Elon promised. And I could learn about rockets whenever I wanted. As much as you want. Luna was quiet for a long time, thinking. Elon waited patiently, knowing this was the biggest decision Luna had ever had to make. Elon, Luna finally said, can I ask you something? Of course. Why do you want me to be your family? You're famous and important. and you could have any family you wanted. Why would you want a girl like me?" Elon leaned back in his chair and thought about how to answer. "Luna, do you remember what you whispered to me this morning when we first met?" Luna nodded. "You told me something that made me realize you and I are very much alike. We both love space, we both dream big dreams, and we both believe that anything is possible if you work hard enough." "And?" Luna prompted. "And," Elon continued, "I think your Grandma Rosa was right. You are destined for great things. But great things are easier to achieve when you have people who believe in you and support you. I want to be one of those people." Luna wiped her eyes and looked around Elon's office again, at the pictures of rockets, the model of Mars, the whiteboards covered with dreams of the future. "If I said yes," Luna asked, "would I still be Luna Martinez?" "You would always be Luna Martinez," Elon said. "That's who you are, and that's who your Grandma Rosa loved. Nothing would change that." Luna took a deep breath, like she was gathering all her courage. "Elon," she said, "I think Grandma Rosa sent me to you. I think she knew that when I needed help the most, I would find the right person to take care of me." Elon felt his heart warm. "Do you really think so?" "I do. And I think she would be happy if you were my family." Luna paused, then added quietly, "I would like that very much." Elon smiled, the biggest smile Luna had seen since they met. "Then that's what we'll do. I'll call the social workers and lawyers, and we'll figure out how to make it official." But even as they were talking about this wonderful new beginning, neither of them knew that there would be complications ahead. Because just as Elon was reaching for his phone to start making the calls that would change their lives, his assistant knocked on the door. "Mr. Musk," she called, "I'm sorry to interrupt, but there's a social worker here to see you. She says it's urgent, and it's about Luna." Elon and Luna looked at each other. Luna's face got worried again. "It's okay," Elon said, but his voice sounded less certain than before. "Let's see what she has to say." Mrs. Thompson, the social worker, was a serious-looking woman with gray hair and kind but tired eyes. She had papers in her hand and an expression that made Elon nervous. "Mr. Musk," she said as she entered the office, "I understand you've found Luna Martinez." "Yes," Elon said, "and we've been discussing her future." Mrs. Thompson looked at Luna, who was sitting very still in her chair, trying to be invisible. "I'm afraid there's been a development," Mrs. Thompson said. "We've located a family member who has legal priority in Luna's custody case." Luna's heart sank. Elon felt his stomach drop. "What kind of family member?" Elon asked. Mrs. Thompson opened her folder and pulled out some papers. "Luna has an uncle, her grandmother's son, living in Mexico. His name is Carlos Martinez, and, according to our records, he has the legal right to take custody of Luna." The room went completely silent. Luna looked like she might cry. Elon looked like someone had just told him that his rockets would never fly again. Everything they had planned, everything they had hoped for, had just become much more complicated. The silence in Elon's office felt heavy, like the air before a thunderstorm. Luna sat very still in her chair, her small hands gripping the armrests. She looked back and forth between Elon and Mrs. Thompson, trying to understand what was happening. "An uncle?" Luna said quietly. "I have an uncle?" Mrs. Thompson sat down and opened her folder. "Yes, dear. Your grandmother Rosa had a son named Carlos. He lives in a small town in Mexico called San Miguel. We've been trying to reach him since your grandmother passed away." "Why didn't Grandma Rosa ever tell me about him?" Luna asked. "Sometimes families lose touch with each other," Mrs. Thompson explained gently. "It doesn't mean they don't care. It just means life gets complicated. Elon leaned forward in his chair. Mrs. Thompson, what exactly does this mean for Luna? Well, Mr. Musk, by law, family members have the first right to care for children who need homes. If Carlos Martinez wants to take custody of Luna, he has the legal priority over anyone else, including you. Luna's eyes filled with tears. But I don't know him. What if he doesn't want me? What if he's mean? Luna, Mrs. Thompson said kindly, we would never send you anywhere that wasn't safe. Before any decision is made, we have to make sure this uncle can properly care for you. Have you talked to him yet? Elon asked. We reached him yesterday evening, Mrs. Thompson said. He was very surprised to learn about Luna. He didn't even know his mother had died. Luna looked confused. He didn't know Grandma Rosa died? Mrs. Thompson's expression got sadder. Sometimes families have disagreements, Luna. Your Uncle Carlos and your grandmother hadn't spoken in several years. But that doesn't mean he doesn't care about you. Elon stood up and walked to his window, looking out at the SpaceX factory floor. His mind was racing, trying to think of solutions. What did he say when you told him about Luna? He asked for time to think about it, Mrs. Thompson replied. He has 6 children of his own and works as a farmer. Taking care of another child would be a big responsibility for him. 6 children? Luna whispered. I would have 6 cousins? You would, Mrs. Thompson said with a small smile. Carlos said he remembered when you were born. He said Rosa sent him pictures of you when you were a baby, before they stopped talking. Luna looked even more confused. Why did they stop talking? Mrs. Thompson glanced at Elon, then back at Luna. Sometimes adults disagree about important things, sweetheart. But the good news is that Carlos wants to meet you before making any decisions. He's coming here? Elon asked. Actually, he's already here. He drove all night from Mexico. He's waiting, in the lobby right now. Luna's face went pale. He's here? Right now? Don't worry, Luna, Elon said quickly, walking back to sit near her. Nobody is going to make you do anything you don't want to do. And I'm going to be right here with you, okay? Luna nodded, but she still looked scared. Mrs. Thompson stood up. Shall I bring him in? Elon looked at Luna. What do you think? Are you ready to meet your uncle? Luna took a deep breath. I guess so. But Elon, will you stay with me? I'm not going anywhere, Elon promised. A few minutes later, there was a knock on the door. Mrs. Thompson opened it, and a man walked in who looked so much like an older version of Luna that Elon was surprised. Carlos Martinez was shorter than Elon, with kind brown eyes just like Luna's and dark hair streaked with gray. His clothes were simple, clean jeans and a button-up shirt, and his hands looked like they worked hard every day. He was holding a worn baseball cap and looked nervous. When Carlos saw Luna, his eyes filled with tears. Dios mío, he said softly. You look just like your mama when she was your age. Luna stared at him. You knew my mama? Sí, mija. Your mama was my little sister. Rosa showed me pictures of you when you were born, but you were just a tiny baby then. Carlos knelt down, so he was at Luna's eye level. I am so sorry about your Grandma Rosa. She was a good woman, even though we had problems. What kind of problems? Luna asked, her voice very small. Carlos looked uncomfortable. Adult problems, mija. Nothing that was your fault. Elon watched this meeting carefully. He could see that Carlos genuinely cared about Luna, but he could also see that the man was overwhelmed. Mr. Martinez, Elon said, please Sit down. I know this is a lot to take in." Carlos sat in the chair next to Luna's, but he kept looking at her like he couldn't believe she was real. "When the social worker called me, I could not believe it. I thought Rosa would have told me if something happened to her. She was very proud," Mrs. Thompson explained. "Sometimes proud people don't ask for help, even when they need it." "That sounds like my mother," Carlos said sadly. Then he looked at Luna again. "Mija, tell me about yourself. What do you like to do?" Luna glanced at Elon, who nodded encouragingly. "I like rockets," she said quietly. "And space, and science. Grandma Rosa taught me lots of things." "Rockets?" Carlos looked surprised. "Like the ones they shoot into space?" "Yes, I want to build rockets that can take families to Mars someday." Luna's voice got a little stronger as she talked about her favorite subject. "Did you know that Mars has seasons just like Earth, but they last twice as long?" Carlos smiled for the first time since entering the room. "No, I did not know that. You are very smart, just like your Grandma Rosa always said you would be." "You talked to Grandma Rosa about me?" Luna asked hopefully. Carlos's smile faded a little. "A long time ago, Mija. Before things got difficult between us." Elon could see that there was a story here that he didn't understand yet. "Mr. Martinez, can I ask what happened between you and Rosa?" Carlos was quiet for a long moment. Rosa was very smart, like Luna. She went to university, got a good job with NASA. I stayed home, became a farmer, like our father. Rosa thought I was wasting my life. I thought she was forgetting where she came from." "That's silly," Luna said suddenly. Everyone looked at her in surprise. "Grandma Rosa always said that growing food is just as important as building rockets. She said farmers feed the world, and rocket builders help the world dream." Carlos stared at Luna, amazed. "She said that?" "Yes. She said every job that helps people is important. She said, the only thing that's not important is being mean to people you love." Carlos's eyes filled with tears again. "Ay, Mija, you sound just like her when she was young, before we let pride get in the way of family." Mrs. Thompson cleared her throat. "Mr. Martinez, we need to discuss Luna's future. Are you prepared to take custody of her?" Carlos looked at Luna, then at Elon, then back at Luna. "Mrs. Thompson, I love this little girl already. She is my blood, my family. But," he paused, struggling with his words. "But," Elon prompted gently, "but I am a simple farmer. I have 6 children already, and money is always tight. I live in a small house with no computers, no fancy schools. Luna is clearly very smart, very special. I don't know if I can give her what she needs to grow her gifts." Luna looked sad. "Does that mean you don't want me?" "No, Mija," Carlos said quickly. "I want you very much. But I want what is best for you, not what is easiest for me." Elon had an idea. It was unusual, maybe even crazy, but looking at Luna's hopeful face and Carlos's worried expression, he knew he had to try. "Mr. Martinez," Elon said, "what if there was a way for you to be Luna's guardian, but also make sure she gets the education and opportunities she needs?" "What do you mean?" Carlos asked. "I mean, what if we worked together? What if you remained Luna's legal guardian, but she spent part of her time with you in Mexico learning about her family and culture, and part of her time here in California going to advanced schools and working with SpaceX?" Mrs. Thompson looked surprised. That's quite an unusual arrangement, Mr. Musk. These are unusual circumstances, Elon replied. Luna is an exceptional child who deserves both a loving family and the chance to develop her incredible gifts. Carlos stared at Elon. You would do that? You would share custody with a farmer you just met? For Luna, yes, Elon said simply. Luna looked back and forth between the two men. Does that mean I could have both of you? Uncle Carlos and Elon? If that's what you want, mija, Carlos said softly. But Mrs. Thompson was shaking her head. I'm afraid it's not that simple. There are legal requirements, background checks, home studies, and Mr. Martinez, you would need to prove you can adequately care for Luna. Carlos's face fell. I told you, Mrs. Thompson, I am just a simple farmer. I don't have much money or education. Money and education aren't everything, Elon said firmly. But Mrs. Thompson is right about the legal requirements. The room fell silent again as everyone thought about this complicated situation. Luna looked like she might cry again. Then Carlos surprised everyone by standing up and looking directly at Elon. Mr. Musk, he said, I have a proposal for you. What kind of proposal? Elon asked. Carlos's expression became serious and determined. If you really want to help my niece, if you really care about her and not just her smart brain, then prove it. How? Elon asked, curious. Carlos looked at Luna, then back at Elon. Come live in my world for 1 week. No fancy cars, no expensive restaurants, no servants. Live like we live. Work like we work. Show me that you understand what Luna's life has really been like. Mrs. Thompson's eyebrows went up. That's quite an unusual request, Mr. Martinez. These are unusual circumstances, Carlos said, echoing Elon's earlier words. If Mr. Musk can do this, if he can show me that he truly understands what it means to care for a child without money and power, then I will consider sharing Luna's custody with him. Everyone looked at Elon. Luna held her breath, waiting to see what he would say. Elon didn't hesitate for even a second. I accept. Carlos Martinez stared at Elon for a long moment, as if he couldn't believe what he had just heard. You accept? Just like that? Just like that, Elon confirmed. When do we start? Mrs. Thompson looked confused. Mr. Musk, I'm not sure this is necessary for the legal process. It's not about the legal process, Carlos interrupted. It's about knowing who this man really is. He turned back to Elon. Many rich people say they care about children, but caring from far away with money is different from caring up close with your heart. Luna had been listening quietly, but now she spoke up. What does that mean? What kind of test? Carlos knelt down next to Luna's chair. Mija, Mr. Musk lives a very different life from us. He has people who cook his food, clean his house, drive his car. He can buy anything he wants. But you and I, we know what it's like to not have those things. I understand, Luna said solemnly. You want to see if Elon can take care of me even when things are hard. Exactly, Carlos said, impressed by Luna's wisdom. If he truly wants to be your family, he needs to understand what your life has been like. Elon sat forward in his chair. What exactly are you asking me to do? Carlos stood up and looked out the window at the busy SpaceX facility. For 1 week, you live like a regular person. No servants, no fancy house, no drivers. You find a small apartment, shop for your own food, cook your own meals. You take the bus to work or walk. That sounds reasonable, Elon said. I'm not finished. Carlos continued. Every day after work, you spend time with Luna, help her with homework, make her dinner, read her bedtime stories. Show me that you can be a parent, not just a boss who gives orders. Luna's eyes lit up. You would really do that? Make me dinner and read me stories? Elon smiled at her. I would love to do that, Luna. Mrs. Thompson was taking notes. Where? Would Luna stay during this week? With me, Carlos said. I'm staying at a small hotel near here. Luna can stay with me, but spend her evenings with Mr. Musk. That way, she gets to know both of us. What if I pass your test? Elon asked. What? If I prove I can take care of Luna without my money and staff? Carlos was quiet for a moment. Then we talk about sharing her custody. But, Mr. Musk, this isn't just about you proving something to me. It's about you learning who Luna really is when she's not amazed by rockets and fancy buildings. I already know who Luna is, Elon said. She's brilliant, brave, and kind. She's been taking care of herself on the streets for 2 weeks, and she never lost hope. That's what you see when you look at her with your mind, Carlos said. But what do you see when you look at her with your heart? When she's tired and cranky? When she has nightmares about her grandmother? When she spills juice on your carpet? Or breaks something important? Elon hadn't thought about those things. He looked at Luna, who was listening to every word. Uncle Carlos is right, Luna said quietly. Sometimes I get sad and cry. Sometimes I have bad dreams. Grandma Rosa said, that's okay, that everyone gets sad sometimes. But some people don't like being around sad children. Elon's heart broke a little. Luna, I would never not want to be around you, even if you're sad. Especially if you're sad. That's when you would need me the most. We'll see, Carlos said simply. Mrs. Thompson finished writing her notes. This is highly unusual, but if both parties agree, I suppose we can try this arrangement for 1 week. Mr. Musk, you'll need to find temporary housing and— I know just the place, Elon interrupted. There's a small apartment building near SpaceX where some of our interns live. I can rent a 1-bedroom apartment there. No, Carlos said firmly. You don't get to choose a convenient place. You get to choose from the same places a regular person with a regular job could afford. Elon realized Carlos was serious about making this test realistic. Okay, how do I find a place like that? The same way everyone else does, Carlos said. You look in the newspaper ads. You drive around looking for rent signs. You ask people for recommendations. Luna giggled. Elon, have you ever looked for an apartment before? No, Elon admitted. I've lived in the same house for years. This will be an adventure for both of us then, Luna said with a smile. The next morning, Elon found himself in a situation he had never been in before. He was sitting in a small diner, drinking coffee and looking through newspaper classified ads. Marcus sat across from him, shaking his head in amazement. Boss, I still can't believe you're doing this, Marcus said. I can't believe it either, Elon replied, circling an ad for a furnished apartment. But Carlos is right. If I'm going to be Luna's family, I need to understand her world. What if you hate it? What if it's too hard? Elon looked up from the newspaper. Marcus, Luna lived on the streets in a cardboard box for 2 weeks, and she never gave up hope. I think I can handle living in a small apartment for 1 week. Elon spent the morning looking at apartments. The first one smelled like old socks. The second one had a broken air conditioner and windows that wouldn't open. The third one was perfect for what he needed. Small, clean, and affordable. This will be fine, Elon told the landlord, a friendly older woman named Mrs. Garcia. Are you sure? Mrs. Garcia asked, looking at Elon's expensive clothes. It's pretty basic. No dishwasher, no fancy appliances. That's exactly what I need, Elon said. That afternoon, Elon went grocery shopping. He had never been grocery shopping by himself before. He wandered the aisles with a cart, trying to figure out what Luna might like to eat. He bought ingredients for spaghetti, some apples, milk, cereal, and sandwich supplies. At the checkout, the cashier looked at his selections and smiled. "Cooking for kids?" she asked. "Yes," Elon said. "A very special little girl." "They're the best kind," the cashier said with a wink. That evening, Luna knocked on the door of Elon's temporary apartment. She was holding a small backpack and looked excited, but a little nervous. "Hi, Elon," she said when he opened the door. "This is where you're living now?" "For the next week," Elon said, letting her in. "What do you think?" Luna looked around the small apartment. It had a tiny kitchen, a living room with an old couch and a small TV, and one bedroom with a simple bed. "It's cozy," she said diplomatically. "Are you hungry?" Elon asked. "I thought we could make spaghetti together." "I love spaghetti," Luna said. "But Elon, do you know how to cook?" "I'm about to learn," Elon said with a grin. Cooking with Luna turned out to be more fun than Elon had expected. She showed him how to tell when the water was boiling. It makes big bubbles, not little ones. And how much salt to add to the pasta. Just a pinch like this. "Grandma Rosa taught me to cook," Luna explained as she stirred the sauce. "She said everyone should know how to take care of themselves." "She sounds like she was very wise," Elon said. "She was. But she also said it's nice when people take care of each other too." They ate their spaghetti at the small kitchen table, and Luna told Elon about her day with Uncle Carlos. "He's really nice, but he seems worried about something. He keeps asking me if I'm sure I want to live in America instead of Mexico." "What do you tell him?" Elon asked. "I tell him I want to live wherever I can learn the most and help the most people. I think that could be Mexico sometimes, and America sometimes." After dinner, they did Luna's homework together. She was working on a math worksheet that would have been challenging for most fourth graders, but Luna finished it quickly. "This is too easy," she said with a sigh. "I wish there were harder problems." Elon had an idea. He grabbed a piece of paper and wrote down a problem. If a rocket needs to travel 250 million miles to reach Mars, and it can travel 25,000 miles per hour, how many hours will the trip take? Luna's eyes lit up. "Ooh, that's a good one." She worked on the problem for a few minutes, then showed Elon her answer. 10,000 hours, but that's if the rocket travels in a straight line, which it can't because of gravity and orbital mechanics. Elon was amazed. "That's exactly right. How did you know about orbital mechanics?" "Grandma Rosa had books," Luna said simply. As bedtime approached, Luna got quieter. "Elon, can I ask you something?" "Always." "Do you think Uncle Carlos likes me? Really likes me, not just because he has to?" Elon sat down on the couch next to Luna. "Luna, I saw the way your uncle looked at you today. He loves you very much. But I think he's scared." "Scared of what?" "Scared that he won't be able to give you everything you need. Scared that he's not smart enough or rich enough to help you achieve your dreams." Luna thought about this. "That's silly. Being smart isn't about how much money you have. Grandma Rosa was the smartest person I ever knew, and we didn't have much money." "You're absolutely right," Elon said. "But sometimes adults worry about things that kids understand better than they do." At 8:30, Carlos came to pick up Luna. "How did it go?" he asked Elon. "It went perfectly," Elon said. "Luna helped me cook. We did homework together, and we talked about rockets and orbital mechanics." Carlos raised an eyebrow. "Orbital mechanics?" "She's incredibly advanced, Carlos. But she's also just a 7-year-old girl who misses her grandmother and wants to feel safe and loved. And do you think you can give her that? Carlos asked seriously. Even when it's hard? Even when she wakes up, crying in the middle of the night because she had a nightmare about being alone again? Elon looked at Luna, who was gathering her backpack. Carlos, I've spent my whole career solving impossible problems. But taking care of Luna isn't a problem to solve. She's a little girl to love, and that's something I'm definitely willing to learn how to do. Carlos nodded slowly. We'll see, Mr. Musk. This was only day one. As Luna hugged Elon goodbye, she whispered something in his ear that made him smile. But Carlos couldn't hear what she said, and he wouldn't know until later that Luna's whispered words would change everything about his test. The rest of the week passed like a beautiful, challenging dream. Each day, Elon walked to work from his small apartment, taking the bus when it rained. Each evening, Luna came over for dinner, homework, and stories. And each night, Carlos picked her up, watching Elon carefully to see how he handled being a regular person. On Tuesday, Elon burned the grilled cheese sandwiches and had to order pizza instead. Luna laughed and taught him how to make the perfect grilled cheese. Low heat, Uncle Carlos always says. Good things take time. On Wednesday, Luna spilled grape juice all over Elon's only clean shirt. Instead of getting upset, Elon put on a SpaceX t-shirt and said, "Now we match." Luna giggled and helped him wash the stained shirt in the tiny apartment washing machine. On Thursday, Luna had a nightmare during her afternoon nap on Elon's couch. She woke up crying, calling for Grandma Rosa. Elon held her while she cried, not trying to stop her tears, but just letting her know she wasn't alone. "It's okay to miss her," he said softly. "It means you loved her very much." By Friday evening, both Elon and Luna felt like they had known each other forever. They had inside jokes, favorite games, and a bedtime routine that Luna helped create. Elon read her stories about space adventures, and Luna drew pictures of rockets with families inside them. Tomorrow is the last day of Uncle Carlos's test, Luna said as they sat on the small couch, reading together. "Are you worried about it?" Elon asked. Luna was quiet for a moment. "A little. What if Uncle Carlos thinks you didn't pass? What if he takes me to Mexico and I never see you again?" "Luna, even if that happens, you'll always be special to me. You've taught me so much this week." "Like what?" "Like how making dinner together is better than eating fancy food alone. Like how helping with homework can be more fun than the most important business meeting. Like how taking care of someone you love isn't work at all." Luna smiled and snuggled closer to Elon. "You've taught me things too." "Really? What have I taught you?" "You taught me that grown-ups can change. You taught me that smart people can be kind people. And you taught me that sometimes, when you think your story is ending, it's really just beginning." When Carlos came to pick up Luna that night, he looked different. Less worried, more thoughtful. "How was your week, Mr. Musk?" Carlos asked. "It was the best week I've had in years," Elon said honestly. "Luna is an amazing kid, Carlos. You should be very proud." "I am proud," Carlos said. "But I've been watching you too. You're different than I expected." "Different how?" Carlos sat down in the small chair by the door. "I thought you would get frustrated. I thought you would give up when things got hard. When Luna spilled things or cried or needed help with simple problems you could just pay someone else to fix." "But I didn't," Elon said. "No, you didn't. You got better at it. Every day, you got better at being normal, at being a person instead of just a boss." Luna had been listening from the couch. Now she got up and went to her backpack, pulling out something wrapped in a towel. "Uncle Carlos, before you decide anything, I need to show you something," Luna said seriously. "What is it, mija?" Luna carefully unwrapped the towel. Inside was an old shoebox, held together with tape and rubber bands. "These are Grandma Rosa's, things. The things I carried with me when I had nowhere to go." Carlos's eyes got wide. "Rosa's things? I thought everything was lost when she died." "I saved the most important stuff," Luna said. "I didn't look at it much because it made me too sad. But this week, while Elon was learning to take care of me, I was learning to be brave enough to remember Grandma Rosa without just crying." Luna opened the shoebox. Inside were old photographs, some papers with writing on them, and a small notebook with a worn cover. "There are pictures of you, Uncle Carlos," Luna said, pulling out an old photo. "Grandma Rosa kept pictures of you even after you stopped talking." Carlos took the photo with shaking hands. It showed him as a young man, standing next to Rosa, in front of a small house. Both of them were smiling and had their arms around each other. "I remember this day," Carlos whispered. "It was Rosa's graduation from college. I was so proud of her." "There's more," Luna said. She pulled out some official-looking papers. "I don't understand all these words, but I think they're important." Elon looked at the papers over Carlos's shoulder. His eyes went wide. "Luna, these are research documents from NASA." "What?" Carlos looked confused. "Your mother's work," Elon explained. "These are her original research papers and designs. Carlos, your sister wasn't just any NASA scientist. She was working on early Mars mission concepts." Luna pulled out more papers. "And look at this," she said, showing them a letter with NASA printed at the top. "It's addressed to someone named Dr. Martinez." Carlos's hands were shaking as he read the letter. This is a job offer. They wanted Rosa to come back to NASA. They were offering her a lot of money to work on something called the Mars Habitat Project." "When is this letter dated?" Elon asked. Carlos looked at the date. 3 years ago. But Rosa never told me about this. She never went back to NASA." Luna was looking through more papers in the box. "Here's another letter," she said. "This one is from Grandma Rosa to someone at NASA." Elon read the letter out loud. "Dear Dr. Patterson, thank you for your generous offer to rejoin the Mars Habitat Project. While I am honored that you still value my work, I must decline. My granddaughter Luna needs me now, and she is more important than any career opportunity. However, I am including some updated designs that might help your team. Please consider them a gift to the future that Luna will inherit." The room was completely quiet. Carlos was staring at the letter with tears in his eyes. "She turned down her dream job to take care of me?" Luna asked in a small voice. "Oh, mija," Carlos said, his voice breaking. "She loved you so much." But Luna was looking at something else in the box. A small envelope with her name written on it in Rosa's handwriting. "This is for me," she said quietly. "Do you want to open it?" Elon asked gently. Luna nodded and carefully opened the envelope. Inside was a letter and a small folded photograph. Luna read the letter silently at first, her eyes getting bigger and bigger. Then she looked up at Carlos and Elon. "She knew," Luna whispered. "Knew what?" Carlos asked. "She knew she was going to die. She knew I would need help, and Luna couldn't finish the sentence. "What does the letter say, Luna?" Elon asked softly. Luna handed him the letter with shaking hands. Elon read it out loud. My dearest Luna, if you are reading this, then I am with the stars, and you are trying to figure out what comes next. First, know that you are the most precious thing in my life, and everything I did was because I love you more than all the stars in the sky. Second, I want you to know that I am not sad about the choices I made. Turning down the NASA job was easy, because you needed me more than they did. Spending our money on your education instead of my medicine was the best investment I ever made. Third, I need you to know something important. I brought you to SpaceX once when you were 4 years old. There was a public tour, and I wanted you to see where dreams are built. You were so excited about the rockets that you asked if you could live there someday. I took a picture of you standing in front of a big rocket, reaching up toward it like you wanted to touch the stars. Luna, I believe the universe has a plan. I believe that someday, when you need help the most, you will find your way back to where dreams are built. And when you do, you will know you are exactly where you belong. Elon stopped reading. His hands were shaking now too. There's more, Luna said quietly. She unfolded the photograph that was in the envelope. It was a picture of a 4-year-old, Luna, standing in the SpaceX lobby in front of the same Merlin engine she had touched on her first day. She was reaching up toward the rocket, her face full of wonder and joy. I don't remember this, Luna whispered. But it explains everything, Elon said. Luna, you didn't just randomly find SpaceX. Some part of you remembered. Some part of you knew you belonged there. Carlos was crying now, holding the old photograph of him and Rosa, my sister. She planned this. Somehow she knew. Luna looked at both men, then back at her grandmother's letter. There's one more thing, she said. At the bottom. She read the last paragraph out loud. Luna, I have left instructions for your education and a small fund to help with your future. It is not much, but combined with the love of good people, it will be enough. Trust your heart, my little star. And remember that the best way to honor someone's memory is to become the person they believed you could be. Everyone was quiet for a long moment. Finally, Carlos spoke. Rosa was always smarter than me, he said with a sad smile. Even at the end, she was planning and hoping and believing in miracles. Uncle Carlos, Luna said softly, what does this mean for me? For us? Carlos looked at the letter, the photographs, and the little girl who looked so much like his sister. Then he looked at Elon, who had spent a week learning to be a father. It means, mija, that your grandma Rosa was right about a lot of things, including the part about good people and love being enough. But there was still one more secret in Rosa's box, something that would surprise them all and change everything they thought they knew about Luna's future. Luna reached deeper into Rosa's shoebox, her small fingers searching through the remaining papers. At the very bottom, underneath everything else, she found something that made her gasp. It was another envelope, but this one was different. It was sealed with red wax, and written across the front in Rosa's careful handwriting were the words, "For Luna, when she's ready to fly." There's another letter, Luna said, her voice barely a whisper. Carlos and Elon moved closer as Luna carefully broke the wax seal. Inside was a folded letter and something else, a small metal object that caught the light. "What is that?" Elon asked, pointing to the metal object. Luna picked it up. It was a small silver pin in the shape of a rocket, with tiny blue stones that looked like stars around it. "It's beautiful," she said, turning it over in her hands. "Read the letter first, mija." Carlos said gently. Luna unfolded the paper and began to read out loud, her voice getting stronger as she went. My precious Luna, if you are reading this letter, it means you have found your way to SpaceX, just as I hoped you would. The pin you are holding belonged to me when I worked at NASA. It was given to scientists who worked on the Mars project. I want you to have it now. But that is not the most important thing in this envelope. Luna, I need to tell you about a promise I made before you were born. Luna paused, looking up at Carlos and Elon. A promise? Keep reading, Elon encouraged. When your mother died and I became your guardian, I was scared. I didn't know how to raise a baby by myself. So I made a promise to your mother's spirit and to the universe. I promised that I would give you everything I had. My knowledge, my love, my dreams, so that you could grow up to do something amazing. But I also made a practical promise. Luna, I have been saving money for your education since the day you were born. Not much each month, because we never had much. But every month, I put aside whatever I could. When I got sick, I could have used this money for better medicine, for treatments that might have helped me live longer. But I didn't use it, because I made a promise to your mother that you would have every chance to reach for the stars. Luna's eyes filled with tears. Grandma Rosa saved money for me. Carlos was amazed. Rosa never told me about any savings. Luna continued reading. The money is in a special account at First National Bank. The account number is written on the back of this letter. Luna, there is enough money to pay for your college education, and maybe even graduate school if you study hard. But here is what I want you to understand. This money is not the most important gift I'm giving you. The most important gift is the knowledge that someone believed in you so much that they planned for your future, even when their own future was uncertain. Use this money wisely, my little star. Use it to learn everything you can about science and space and building rockets. But remember that the smartest person is not the one who knows the most facts. It's the one who uses what they know to help other people. I have one more surprise for you, Luna. Look at the very bottom of the box. Luna quickly turned the box upside down. Taped to the inside bottom was a small, flat package wrapped in tissue paper. What is it? Carlos asked. Luna carefully unwrapped the tissue paper. Inside was a thin book with a blue cover. The title read, Mars Habitat Design, a comprehensive study by Dr. Rosa Martinez. Elon's mouth fell open. Luna, your grandmother wrote a book about building homes on Mars. She wrote a whole book? Luna asked in amazement. Carlos took the book and flipped through it. The pages were full of detailed drawings, calculations, and plans for building places where families could live on Mars. Rosa worked on this for years, he said quietly. She never told me she finished it. Look at the dedication page, Elon said, pointing to the front of the book. Luna read out loud. Dedicated to my granddaughter, Luna Martinez, who will someday build a better world among the stars. There was more text below the dedication. Luna continued reading. Luna, this book contains all my research about how to make Mars a place where families can live safely and happily. NASA said my ideas were ahead of their time, but I believe they are exactly on time for your generation. I am giving this to you not because I expect you to use these exact designs, but because I want you to know that your dreams are not too big. Your dream of taking families to Mars is the same dream I had. Now, it's your turn to make it come true. The room was completely silent, except for the sound of Luna turning pages. The book was incredible, filled with drawings of Mars houses, greenhouses for growing food, and systems for making the red planet feel like home. "Luna," Elon said softly, "do you understand what this means?" Luna looked up from the book. "It means Grandma Rosa and I had the same dream." "It means more than that," Elon continued. "Your grandmother's research could help SpaceX solve problems we're working on right now. These designs are brilliant." Carlos was shaking his head in wonder. "My sister was even more amazing than I knew. She was planning Luna's future right up until the end." Luna turned to the very last page of the book. There, in Rosa's handwriting, was a final note. "My dearest Luna, I may not live to see you grow up, but I know in my heart that you will do extraordinary things. The money I saved will help you get the education you need. This book will show you that your dreams are possible. And most importantly, the love I gave you will remind you that you are never alone. When you build your first rocket, when you design your first Mars home, when you help the first family move to a new world, remember that I am watching from the stars, so proud of the amazing woman you have become. Reach for the stars, my Luna. They are waiting for you. All my love always, Grandma." "Rosa," Luna closed the book and hugged it to her chest. Tears were streaming down her face. But she was smiling too. "She really did plan everything," Luna whispered. "Not everything," Carlos said gently. "She couldn't plan for you to find such good people to help you. That was just luck. Or destiny," Elon added quietly. Luna looked at both men, her uncle who had driven all night from Mexico to meet her, and Elon who had spent a week learning to be a regular person, just to prove he cared about her. "Uncle Carlos," Luna said, "I have a question." "What is it, Mija?" "Grandma Rosa's money is enough for college, right? And Elon can teach me about rockets, and you can teach me about family and where I come from." "Yes," Carlos said. "What are you thinking?" Luna took a deep breath, like she was about to say something very important. "I'm thinking that maybe I don't have to choose between you and Elon. Maybe I can have both of you, just like Grandma Rosa planned." Elon and Carlos looked at each other. Both men were thinking the same thing. This little girl was wiser than both of them put together. "Luna," Elon said carefully, "what exactly? Are you proposing?" Luna stood up, still holding her grandmother's book. "I want to spend summers with Uncle Carlos in Mexico, learning about my family and helping on the farm. And I want to spend the school year here in California, going to advanced classes and working with SpaceX on weekends." "That's a big plan for a 7-year-old, Carlos said with a smile. "Grandma Rosa always said that big dreams need big plans," Luna replied. "And besides, I'll have help. I'll have both of you." Carlos looked at Elon. "What do you think, Mr. Musk? Can we make this work?" "I think," Elon said slowly, "that Rosa Martinez raised the smartest, bravest, most amazing little girl in the world. And I think she would be very proud of this plan." Luna grinned, the biggest smile any of them had seen from her yet. "So, we're really going to be a family? All of us together?" "All of us together," Carlos confirmed. But even as they were celebrating this wonderful solution, none of them knew that there was still one more surprise waiting. The biggest surprise of all. And it would come from the person they least expected. The next morning, Elon, Luna, and Carlos met with Mrs. Thompson at the SpaceX offices to make their unusual family arrangement official. Luna was wearing Rosa's NASA pin on her shirt, and she carried her grandmother's Mars book in a special bag that Carlos had bought her. "This is quite an unconventional custody arrangement," Mrs. Thompson said, looking over the papers. "But given the circumstances, and the fact that everyone involved seems committed to Luna's best interests, I think we can make it work." "So it's really happening?" Luna asked excitedly. "I get to have both Uncle Carlos and Elon as my family?" "It's really happening," Mrs. Thompson confirmed with a smile. "You'll spend summers in Mexico with your uncle, and the school year here in California with Mr. Musk." Luna jumped up and hugged both men. "This is the best day ever." But just as they were finishing the paperwork, Marcus knocked on the door. "I'm sorry to interrupt," Marcus said, "but there's someone here to see Luna. She says it's urgent." "Someone to see me?" Luna asked, confused. "Who would want to see me?" Marcus looked puzzled too. "She says her name is Dr. Sarah Patterson, and she's from NASA." Elon's eyes went wide. "Dr. Patterson? That's the name from Rosa's letter, the person who offered her the job." A moment later, a tall woman with gray hair and kind eyes entered the room. She was wearing a NASA jacket and carrying a briefcase. "Luna Martinez?" Dr. Patterson asked, looking directly at Luna. "Yes, ma'am," Luna said politely, though she looked nervous. Dr. Patterson knelt down to Luna's level. "Luna, my name is Dr. Sarah Patterson. I worked with your grandmother Rosa at NASA many years ago. When I heard about what happened to her and that you had been found, I knew I had to come see you." "You knew my grandma Rosa?" Luna asked with wonder. "I did. She was one of the most brilliant scientists I ever worked with. When she turned down our job offer 3 years ago to take care of you, I was disappointed, but not surprised. Rosa always said that family was more important than career." Carlos stepped forward. "Dr. Patterson, how did you know Luna was here?" "NASA keeps track of the families of our former employees," Dr. Patterson explained. "When Luna's situation was reported to social services, it triggered an alert in our system. I've been trying to reach you for the past week." Dr. Patterson opened her briefcase and pulled out a large manila envelope. "Luna, I have something that belongs to you." "Something that belongs to me?" Luna asked. "When your grandmother worked at NASA, she participated in something called the Legacy Program. It's a special fund set up to help the children and grandchildren of NASA scientists pursue careers in space and science." Elon leaned forward. "What kind of help?" Dr. Patterson smiled. "Full scholarship to any university in the country, plus funding for graduate school, plus guaranteed internships at NASA during summers." She looked at Luna. "Your grandmother enrolled you in this program when you were born." Luna's mouth fell open. "She did?" "There's more," Dr. Patterson continued. "Last week, our current Mars habitat team was reviewing old research files, and we came across your grandmother's work. Luna, your grandmother's designs for Mars living spaces are exactly what we need for our current mission." Carlos looked amazed. "What does that mean?" "It means," Dr. Patterson said, pulling more papers from her briefcase, "that NASA wants to officially purchase Rosa's research and name our first Mars habitat after her. The Rosa Martinez Mars Family Center." Luna started crying happy tears. "They're going to name something on Mars after Grandma Rosa?" "Not just something," Dr. Patterson said. "The first place where families will live on Mars. It will be called Rosa's home." Elon was shaking his head in amazement. "Dr. Patterson, this is incredible. But why are you here in person? Couldn't you have just called?" Dr. Patterson smiled and looked back at Luna. "Because I wanted to ask Luna something important." She knelt down again. "Luna, would you like to be an official NASA junior ambassador? It's a special program for young people who show exceptional promise in space science. What does a junior ambassador do? Luna asked. You would visit schools and tell other children about space exploration. You would work with NASA scientists on special projects, and when you're older, you would have guaranteed acceptance into our astronaut training program. Luna looked at Elon, then at Carlos, then back at Dr. Patterson. You want me to be an astronaut? Luna, Dr. Patterson said seriously, your grandmother's research shows that you have inherited her brilliant mind. Your teacher's reports show that you understand concepts far beyond your age level. And everyone I've talked to says you have a special gift for inspiring others to dream big. But I'm only 7, Luna said. So was I when I decided I wanted to work for NASA, Dr. Patterson replied. The best time to start chasing your dreams is right now. Luna was quiet for a long moment, thinking hard. Finally, she looked up at Dr. Patterson and asked, if I become a junior ambassador, can I still spend summers with Uncle Carlos and live with Elon during school? Of course, Dr. Patterson said. We would work around your family schedule. Luna looked at the Rosa's Mars book in her bag, then at the NASA pin on her shirt. Dr. Patterson, can I ask you something? Anything. Do you think Grandma Rosa would be proud of me if I said yes? Dr. Patterson's eyes filled with tears. Luna, I think your grandmother would be so proud that she would light up every star in the sky. Luna took a deep breath and stood up as tall as she could. Then, yes, I want to be a NASA junior ambassador. The room erupted in cheers. Carlos hugged Luna, Elon clapped his hands, and Mrs. Thompson wiped tears from her eyes. There's one more thing, Dr. Patterson said when everyone calmed down. Luna, next month, NASA is launching a new mission to Mars. We're sending supplies and equipment for the future Mars colony. Would you like to come to the launch as our special guest? Luna's eyes went so wide they looked like they might pop out of her head. I can watch a real rocket launch? Not just watch, Dr. Patterson said. You can help push the button that starts the countdown. Luna looked like she might faint from excitement. Really? 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 Dr. Patterson confirmed. Later that afternoon, after all the papers were signed and Dr. Patterson had left, Luna sat between Elon and Carlos in the SpaceX cafeteria, eating ice cream and talking about everything that had happened. I can't believe it, Luna said for the 100th time. I'm going to be a NASA junior ambassador, and I get to live with both of you, and there's going to be a place on Mars named after Grandma Rosa. Believe it, Elon said with a grin. Sometimes amazing things happen to amazing people. But you know what the best part is? Luna asked. What? Carlos asked. Luna looked at both men with those big brown eyes that had started this whole adventure. The best part is that I'm not alone anymore. I have a real family. You've always had a family. Misha, Carlos said gently. Your Grandma Rosa loved you, and she made sure you would be taken care of. I know, Luna said. But now I have a family that I can hug and talk to and make spaghetti with. Elon laughed. Speaking of spaghetti, are you ready to move back into a regular house? My week in the small apartment is over. Luna thought about this seriously. Can we still cook together sometimes, even in your big house? Every night if you want, Elon promised. And Uncle Carlos, when I come to Mexico this summer, will you teach me how to grow food like you do? I will teach you everything I know about farming, Carlos said, and you can teach me more about rockets. Luna grinned. It's a deal. As they sat there eating ice cream and planning their future together, Luna suddenly remembered something. Elon, she said, Do you remember what I whispered to you that first night in your apartment? I remember, Elon said. What did you tell him? Carlos asked curiously. Luna looked at both men, then smiled the biggest smile yet. I told him that Grandma Rosa always said that families aren't just the people you're born with. Families are the people who choose to love you and take care of you, no matter what. Carlos felt tears coming to his eyes. That sounds exactly like something Rosa would say. She also said, Luna continued, that when you find people like that, you should hold on to them tight and never let them go. Luna reached out and took both men's hands. So I'm holding on tight to both of you. Forever? Elon asked with a smile. Forever and always, Luna confirmed. And as they sat there, the little girl who had been sleeping in a cardboard box just 2 weeks ago knew that she truly was exactly where she belonged, surrounded by love, supported by dreams, and ready to reach for the stars. But there was still one final surprise waiting, and it would come at the most perfect moment of all. 3 weeks later, Luna stood at Kennedy Space Center in Florida, wearing a special NASA Junior Ambassador jacket that was just her size. The rocket launch was scheduled for 3 p.m., and Luna had barely slept the night before from excitement. Elon, Carlos, and Marcus stood beside her as Dr. Patterson showed them around the launch facility. Luna asked so many questions that even the NASA engineers were impressed. Luna, Dr. Patterson said, as they walked toward the launch control room, are you ready for your big moment? I think so, Luna said, though her voice sounded a little nervous. What if I push the wrong button? You won't, Elon assured her. And even if you did, there are lots of safety systems to make sure everything goes perfectly. As they entered the control room, Luna gasped. There were hundreds of computer screens, blinking lights, and people wearing headsets working at different stations. It looked exactly like the mission control room at SpaceX, but even bigger. Luna Martinez, our junior ambassador, announced the launch director, a friendly woman named Commander Rodriguez. Are you excited to help us send supplies to the International Space Station? Yes, ma'am, Luna said, her nervousness disappearing. These supplies will help the astronauts who are getting ready for the Mars mission, right? That's exactly right, Commander Rodriguez said. Every launch gets us one step closer to landing humans on Mars. As the countdown got closer to 0, Luna was given a special headset so she could hear all the communications between the different teams. She listened carefully as engineers checked every system on the rocket. Luna, Dr. Patterson said, when the countdown reaches 10 seconds, you'll help me push the final launch button. Are you ready? Luna nodded, her heart beating fast with excitement. The voice over the loudspeaker began the final countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7. Luna and Dr. Patterson put their hands on the big red button together. 6, 5, 4, 3. Luna closed her eyes and thought about Grandma Rosa. 2, 1. They pushed the button together. Lift-off! The rocket roared to life, flames shooting from its engines as it slowly lifted off the launch pad. Luna watched through the big windows as the rocket climbed higher and higher, getting smaller and smaller until it disappeared into the blue sky. It's beautiful, Luna whispered, tears of joy streaming down her face. Everyone in the control room was clapping and cheering. Luna looked around at all the happy faces and felt something warm and wonderful growing in her chest. Grandma Rosa, she whispered to herself, I did it. I helped send a rocket to space. But the biggest surprise was still coming. After the successful launch, Commander Rodriguez asked everyone to gather in the main auditorium for a special announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, Commander Rodriguez said into her microphone. Today's launch was extra special because we had help from our youngest, Junior Ambassador Luna Martinez. The crowd applauded, and Luna felt her cheeks turn red. But what Luna doesn't know, Commander Rodriguez continued, is that this mission is carrying something very special to the International Space Station. Luna looked confused. Something special? Dr. Patterson stepped forward with a small box in her hands. Luna, do you remember your grandmother's NASA pin, the one you're wearing? Luna touched the silver rocket pin on her jacket. Yes, ma'am. Well, that pin was part of a matched set. Your grandmother had 2 pins made when she worked on the Mars project. One for her to keep, and one to give to NASA for a very special purpose. Dr. Patterson opened the box, revealing an identical silver rocket pin with tiny blue stones. This is the matching pin, Dr. Patterson explained, and today we launched it to the International Space Station, where it will stay until the first Mars mission launches. Luna's eyes went wide. Grandma Rosa's pin is going to space? Not just going to space, Commander Rodriguez said. It's going to Mars. When the first crew lands on the Red Planet and begins building the Rosa Martinez Mars Family Center, they will place this pin in the cornerstone of the first building. Luna couldn't speak. She just stared at the empty box where her grandmother's pin had been. Luna, Dr. Patterson said gently, your grandmother's dream of helping families live on Mars is really going to come true, and part of her will be there to see it happen. Luna started crying, but they were the happiest tears anyone had ever seen. Carlos knelt down and hugged his niece. Mija, your Grandma Rosa would be so proud of you today. She's watching from the stars, Luna said through her tears, just like she promised. Elon put his hand on Luna's shoulder. Luna, do you know what this means? Luna wiped her eyes and looked up at him. What? It means that someday, when you're old enough to go to Mars yourself, you'll be able to visit your grandmother's pin and tell her all about the amazing things you've done. Luna's face lit up with the biggest smile anyone had ever seen. Really? I could really go to Mars someday? Really, Dr. Patterson confirmed. In fact, Luna, I have one more surprise for you. Luna wasn't sure she could handle any more surprises, but she nodded. Dr. Patterson pulled out an official-looking document. Luna Martinez, NASA hereby officially reserves a spot for you on the first family mission to Mars. When you're old enough, if you still want to go, you will be among the first children to live on another planet. Luna looked at the document, then at all the adults around her who were smiling and crying at the same time. I want to go, she said firmly. I want to go to Mars and build the best family homes in the whole solar system. Then that's exactly what you'll do, Elon said. As they walked out of Kennedy Space Center that evening, Luna held hands with both Carlos and Elon. Above them, the first stars were beginning to appear in the darkening sky. Look, Luna said, pointing up. There's Grandma Rosa's star. Which one? Carlos asked with a smile. All of them, Luna said. She told me that people who love each other become part of all the stars, so they can watch over everyone they care about, no matter where they are. That's beautiful, Mija, Carlos said. And you know what? Luna added, still looking up at the stars. What? Elon asked. Luna squeezed both their hands tighter. Someday, when I'm living on Mars, I'll look up at Earth and know that you're both there, watching over me, just like Grandma Rosa is watching over all of us right now. Always, Elon promised. Forever and always, Carlos agreed. And Luna Martinez, the little girl who had once slept in a cardboard box outside SpaceX, smiled as she walked between her two fathers toward a future brighter than all the stars in the sky. Luna Martinez Musk was now 12 years old and the most famous junior ambassador in NASA's history. She split her time perfectly between her two homes: summers on Uncle Carlos's farm in Mexico, where she learned about growing food and staying connected to her roots, and the school year in California, where she attended advanced classes and worked with SpaceX engineers on weekend projects. Her room in Elon's house was filled with awards, certificates, and pictures from her adventures. On her desk sat two framed photographs, one of Grandma Rosa in her NASA uniform, smiling proudly, and one of Luna with Elon and Carlos at a rocket launch, all three of them reaching toward the stars. Every night before bed, Luna would look out her window at the stars and whisper, "Good night, Grandma Rosa. I'm still reaching for you." Luna was currently designing her own Mars habitat for a national science competition, but her real project was much bigger. She was working with NASA to create a program that would teach children around the world about space exploration, especially children who didn't have much money or many opportunities. "Every child should have the chance to dream about the stars," Luna often said in her speeches, "because you never know. The next person to walk on Mars might be sleeping in a cardboard box right now, waiting for someone to believe in them." Marcus had become Luna's honorary grandfather and still worked as head of security. But now, he also helped Luna with her junior ambassador duties. The SpaceX employees who had met Luna on her first day still considered her their special mascot, and she remembered all their names and asked about their families. Carlos visited California every few months, and Elon made sure to visit Mexico every summer to help on the farm. The three of them had become a real family, just as Luna had dreamed. The Rosa Martinez Mars Family Center was now under construction, with the first families scheduled to move there when Luna turned 18. And on Luna's desk, next to the pictures, sat a small model of the Mars habitat, with a tiny silver rocket pin placed carefully in front of it. A reminder that dreams, love, and family can reach across space and time. Luna Martinez had kept her promise to Grandma Rosa. She was reaching for the stars, but she was also helping others reach for them too. And every night, when she looked up at the sky, she knew that somewhere among all those twinkling lights, Rosa Martinez was smiling down at the granddaughter who had made all their dreams come true. What Luna whispered to Marcus that very first morning was, "My Grandma Rosa told me that when you need help the most, angels come disguised as ordinary people. Are you my angel?" Marcus knew then that this little girl was about to change all their lives forever. And she had. Luna's incredible journey from a cardboard box to the stars shows us that kindness can change the world. One act of compassion from Marcus, one decision from Elon, and one uncle's love created a family that will help humanity reach Mars. We'd love to know, where are you watching from today? Drop your city and country in the comments below. Stories like Luna's remind us that hope and dreams exist everywhere. If this story touched your heart, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. By subscribing, you're helping us spread more stories of kindness and hope to people who need them most. Your support helps us find and share more incredible true stories that prove love always wins in the end. And don't go anywhere yet. Click on the video appearing on your screen right now for another amazing story that will restore your faith in humanity. Thank you for being part of our community of dreamers and believers. Remember, you never know when you might be someone's angel, just like Marcus was for Luna. Keep spreading kindness wherever you go.